Okay, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Guns and Mental Health Podcast featuring Mike Sediti, myself, Kevin Barry, our marketing guru, and we have a very special guest. I consider him a friend, and you're actually a returning guest to the show. You've been on the show before. Uh, Professor, educator, gun rights advocate, liberal. We're going to freak people out. Because how's that supposed to happen? David Yamane, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. Living proof that unicorns do exist. So,
Yeah, absolutely. You're an author too. So one of the things that we want to talk about today is your new book. There's so many ways we can dive into this interview, but I think I want to give you the floor and kind of give a little bit of background about yourself, and then we'll get into the book. We'll get into all the things that you and I can dive into about this crazy gun world that we're in. Um, and I'm trying to figure out a way to put this, but it to me, you're a breath of fresh air, right? I look at like everyone thinks of gun people as this like cookie cutter thing, and I do it myself too, right? Like I watch shows sometimes, and I look at the people that they put forward as the gun people, and I'm like, oh, those are my people, and I kind of laugh, right?
hmm
Right? Like I saw something about a militia the other day, and I was like, oh, those are my people. But at the same time, like I am nothing like that, right? And I think you are different, you're special, and let's give everybody a little bit of background about yourself.
yeah, man. Well, first of all, appreciate the opportunity to be here. So much respect for the work that you do and Walk the Talk America. So there's no place I'd rather talk about my work than on this platform. And I think that one of the reasons we sort of feel a kindred spirit is that we have very similar backgrounds. That we both kind of came from outside of gun culture. We both spent a lot of our professional lives inside of gun culture, and so we have a foot inside and a foot outside, and it really allows us an opportunity to act as translators and mediators, and people who are trying to get beyond that just polarized uh, situation that we have, where we can't make any progress talking about guns and in the positive things they bring, and also some of the things that concern us about guns. So my background, I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area. I became a sociologist, which is one of the bluest of blue bubbles. And so between being from the land of unicorns and rainbows and becoming a sociologist, I really was completely insulated for guns for most of my life. I never shot a gun, never saw or touched a gun until I was 42 years old, and I found myself in North Carolina, where guns were plentiful and lots of people, including people like me, middle class liberal professionals, had guns. And so I needed to figure out what they were about, how they to make sure I didn't hurt myself with guns and that sort of thing. So most of my life I knew nothing about guns. In this smaller last 12 years, I've been a gun owner, and I've spent all of my time trying to better understand guns and gun owners and gun culture. And the product of that is this book, Gun Curious: Liberal Professor's Surprising Journey Inside America's Gun Culture, coming out at the beginning of June. And it basically tries to answer the question of why do guns make sense to people who own them, right? And tells the story, I think, honestly and fairly, based on my own experience of